The future isn't one model, it's the right mix. Over the past 2 days, I've been testing DeepSeek V4 extensively. It didn't blow me away, but it didn't disappoint either. What genuinely shook me wasn't its capability, it was the price. Running DeepSeek through OpenRouter, the cost clocks in at barely a tenth of the latest Claude Opus class models, sometimes even less. Google's Gemma 4 can be cheaper still. The gap is too wide to ignore. Which led me to a simple question. If good enough already handles most daily work, why keep reaching for the most expensive model every time? The intelligence stack, partners, engineers, and assistants. If you break down a knowledge worker's day, it roughly splits into 3 layers. Layer 1, strategy and reasoning. Deep thinking, long-chain reasoning, architecture design, ambiguous and complex problem solving. High stakes, high reward. At this level, Claude Opus, GPT-5, and Gemini Advanced still lead decisively. Layer 2, execution and implementation. Writing code, building reports, analyzing data, drafting documents requires decent quality but not necessarily the strongest reasoning. DeepSeek V4 performs admirably here. Layer 3, repetition and maintenance. Fixing small bugs, cleaning up documents, batch modifications, routine operations requires zero creativity, just reliability and low cost. In real-world terms, you wouldn't hire a $3,000 hour elite lawyer to file paperwork. Similarly, most future AI tasks won't require the most expensive frontier model. Model routing. A new operating concept. This is giving rise to a concept quietly taking shape inside large enterprises. Model routing. The idea is simple. Automatically route work to the most appropriate, not the most powerful AI model, based on task type, risk level, and complexity. High difficulty, high risk, reasoning-intensive work goes to the strongest and most expensive models. Large-scale, repetitive execution gets routed to much cheaper models. The system can even calculate cost-benefit in real time for every decision. This isn't just a technical problem anymore. It's a new management challenge. Imagine 2 employees, a senior who solves a problem in 1 hour and a junior who might need 10 hours, more meetings, more expensive AI consumption, and far more debugging. In the future, how does a company measure employee value? By AI token consumption, by which models they used, by time spent, or by actual problem-solving capability. The routing layer is the deepest moat. Companies like OpenRouter, LangChain, and Klein are essentially building an intelligent labor marketplace. They don't provide the best model, they provide a decision layer that knows when to use which model. The logic runs deep. In the past, choosing AI meant choosing a model. In the future, choosing AI means choosing a routing system. The best analogy is Stripe in payments. Payments never consolidated into one system, but Stripe became the indispensable pipeline layer. Similarly, the AI model market may not be winner-take-all. Instead, a routing layer like OpenRouter becomes the irreplaceable intermediary between models and users. Why is this intermediary so important? 4 moats. First, fallback resilience. If Claude goes down or hits rate limits, seamlessly fail over to DeepSeek V4 or Gemini. Direct API users have to build this themselves. The routing layer provides it for free. Second, cost-aware routing. The system knows which model performs best on which task at what cost. No single model provider will ever tell you our competitor is cheaper. The routing layer will. Third, unified billing and observability. For a company running 50 models across 10 teams, one dashboard, one invoice, one API key. This isn't just convenience, it's a management necessity. Fourth, the margin paradox. Routing layers operate on razor-thin margins, but that's exactly their advantage. Thin margins force them to compete on routing intelligence, reliability, and developer experience, not price wars. It's healthy competitive pressure. Who could acquire OpenRouter? OpenRouter faces a classic dilemma: stay independent or get acquired. Interestingly, none of the big 3 AI companies, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, can acquire it. Why? Trust conflict. A routing layer owned by a model provider is like Coke buying a soda fountain that also serves Pepsi. Customer trust evaporates overnight. The real candidates. Cloudflare, the cleanest fit. Already building AI inference at the edge, Workers AI. Acquiring a routing layer turns run inference at our edge into run and root inference at our edge, instantly 10x the TAM with minimal extra infrastructure. Plus, Cloudflare has decades of neutral internet trust. Datadog/New Relic. Observability companies already sit in the middle of every API call. Adding model routing and cost optimization is a natural extension of their value prop. Stripe sounds odd until you think about it. Stripe already processes API billing, rate limits, and key management. It also sits on every API transaction's payment metadata. It knows exactly which companies are spending how much on which models. Stripe plus OpenRouter equals the Bloomberg terminal of AI pricing. Vercel already routes web traffic, deploys code, optimizes frontends. Adding AI model routing is the most natural business expansion. The darkest horse, no one buys them and they IPO. If routing intelligence indeed becomes more valuable than any single model, OpenRouter as the public COO layer for AI is a 10B plus story. 3 futures. The routing layer's shelf life. How long does the routing layer remain viable as a standalone product? 3 scenarios. Scenario A, commoditization, 3-year shelf life. Models keep improving, the quality gap between frontier and cheap narrows to near zero, and everyone just uses the cheapest option. Routing becomes meaningless. I don't buy this. One Frontier Labs are differentiating on capabilities, reasoning, tool use, long context, agentic loops, not just raw intelligence. The gap shifts, but it persists. Scenario B, embedded intelligence, 5-7-year shelf life. Routing becomes invisible, baked into the OS, Apple Intelligence, the browser Chrome built-in, the Edge Cloudflare, or the development platform Versal Replit. You don't think about which model anymore, just like you don't think about which CDN edge node serves your page. The routing layer survives but fades from view. This is the most likely end state. Scenario C, permanent fragmentation, 10-plus-year shelf life. Models don't consolidate. We get specialized reasoning models, legal, medical, code, domain-specific fine-tunes, regulatory requirements. EU mandates local models, China bans certain providers, real-time versus batch cost arbitrage, and privacy tiers on device versus cloud. In this world, routing is permanently valuable, just like Stripe and payments. Consumer Vs. Enterprise, 2 different stories, my bet. Scenario B for consumer mass market, invisible routing within 5 years. And Scenario C for enterprise, fragmentation persists due to compliance, privacy, and specialized needs. The consumer story is simple. You have an Apple, Google, or ChatGPT agent and it just works. You don't pick models, routing is underneath. The enterprise story is messy and permanent. Different data jurisdictions, different cost centers, different task types, different compliance requirements. Someone needs to sit between all those constraints and optimize. That's a real business. So OpenRouter's best move, don't chase the consumer routing dream. Go all in on enterprise governance, compliance routing, and cost optimization. The consumer routing layer gets commoditized. The enterprise governance layer gets entrenched like Palantir, ugly, enterprise-focused, compliance-obsessed, and printing money. The new value calculus for knowledge workers. This shift may affect individuals even more deeply than companies. Historically, an employee's value came from experience, judgment, expertise, and relationships. In the AI routing era, a new variable enters the equation: intelligence leverage ratio. Employees become more valuable not for how much work they personally do, but for how much output they can leverage through low-cost AI. This makes management, perhaps for the first time ever, the highest leverage role in the room. The old org chart is dead. You don't scale by adding headcount. You scale by expanding routing intelligence. A future manager won't be evaluated by how many people you led. They'll be evaluated by how you allocate AI intelligence, reduce routing costs, and maximize output efficiency. In other words, future managers will increasingly become intelligence allocators. The winner won't be the best model, it'll be the best allocator. Put it all together, and something bigger than a software workflow shift is happening. AI is fundamentally repricing knowledge work and management itself. Some models are like high-end consultants, good at thinking, planning, and architecture. Some are like engineers, great for execution at scale. Others are like assistants, cheap, fast, perfect for repetitive tasks. The most important future capability may no longer be who has the smartest model. It's who knows how to allocate across different intelligence tiers most effectively. AI may not end up being winner-take-all. It's evolving into an entirely new intelligence labor market. And in that market, the real winner isn't the strongest model. It's the right mix.